Hello everybody, welcome to ModLoader. This video will really quickly showcase how to configure ModLoader and how to make mods for ModLoader. Um, if you aren't familiar with what ModLoader is or how it works, then go ahead and watch the ModLoader Welcome to Squad ModLoader video made by Jet. It's currently on the ModLoader workshop page. But yeah, as I just said, this video isn't going to talk about that. It's just going to talk about how to configure it and how to make mods for it. So first things first, what you're going to need is obviously to have ModLoader installed, so go ahead and subscribe to the mod. Once you do that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the game. One thing to note is I will be doing this config setup on my client, local side, but the setup is exactly the same as it would be on the server. Obviously, the only difference being the files would be generated on the server instead of on your client. But yeah, so once you subscribe to ModLoader, go ahead and boot your game. I'm going to go ahead and do that in the background, and I'll cut back to once I'm in game. Alright, so now I'm in game, and first thing we want to do is go ahead and roll to the ModLoader layer. So like I said, the setup is exactly the same as it would be on the server. I'm just going to do this on the client side just to quickly showcase how it works. So you're going to do admin, change layer, ModLoader v1. You're going to hit enter, and you're going to load into the Sumari Bala seed ModLoader layer. Okay, great. So, first thing you'll notice is there really isn't much here. As you can see, none of the mods have loaded or anything like that. That's completely normal. Once you've loaded into the layer, you're gonna go ahead and look for your saved folder. Since I'm doing this on client, I'm just going to quickly look for my Steam apps folder. Here you can see I am in my common Steam apps, squad game, then the saved folder. There's going to be a new folder generated called ModLoader. You're going to click that, and you're going to have this file here called modloader.json. Now I'm going to go ahead and open this up. You should have some way to open this up on on your server. Go ahead and do that, and you will see this here. Now it might look a little different from what you're used to if you used ModLoader before. Um, it's basically the same thing. Only difference now is you no longer have to remove all of these mods and rule sets and stuff like that. So, first things first, here you can see there's a bunch of example mods. We have the Army Men, the More Stamina, Moon Gravity, etc. They're all set to true. So, whenever you add in something new, you will then be able to choose whether or not to enable it, either true or false. So here we have it set to true. So we're going to exit out of the game, and we're going to load back in. Here we're just going to quickly go over what's going on here. So here we have our version number. Don't change this. This is something that's needed internally. And then we have B seed mods only during seeding. And then we have our mods, rule sets, seed mods, and seed rule sets categories. So anything put in mods category will load when you are not in a seed layer. So if you're not in a seed layer, these will load. Same thing for rule sets. If you are not in a seed layer, these will load. Seed mods are the opposite. If you are in a seed layer, then these mods would load. Same thing for seed rule sets. Now here, in B seed mods only during seeding, is where you can specify whether or not to load these normal mods during seeding. So, if seed mods only during seeding is true, then only seed mods and rule sets will be spawned. If this is false, then everything will be spawned. During seeding, I should probably iterate again. So yeah, so this is how you can do your moon gravity and army men mods and your combat footage shader all in seeding, and then you can have your normal mods during live layers. Now, one thing to note, if you reach 50 players or whatever it's set to on your server, and your seed layer hits live, it will not remove these mods and rule sets and then spawn these other ones. It's only on a per layer basis. So it's not until you roll the layer that it'll decide whether or not to spawn these or these. That's it. Um, so that's the basically what each part does. Now, you might be wondering, okay, there's a quote-unquote ModLoader mod. How do I add it to ModLoader? So very simply, you're going to go to the Steam page of your ModLoader mod that you're looking to install. Um, for the sake of this video, I'm going to use the NVG mod. Drag this in. So here we have our night vision goggles mod. You're going to look for somewhere that says ModLoader path on the mod page. This is basically if you see this really long string underscore C, that's your ModLoader path. Now you might be wondering, okay, but where does this go? Well, assume that if they don't specify anything, whether it's an actor or a rule set, then it's an actor. If it's a rule set, they'll probably specify it and then you'll know where to put it. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and copy this and we're gonna insert this into our seed for right now. Let's make sure this is proper JSON syntax. True, oops, true, save. Okay, and then now, am I subscribed to this mod? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. And then now I'm going to quickly exit back to main menu since I'm on local. If you're on a server, just roll to the next layer. Okay, now I've loaded in and here you can see I was given a quick notification. If I spawn in, it takes forever. If I spawn in, you'll notice I can press N and boom, I have my night vision goggles. And it's that simple to set up ModLoader. All you really need to do is open up your ModLoader JSON file and then paste the actor paths in and then set it to whether or not it's enabled. And that's about it. That's the whole process for ModLoader. That's the whole process for ModLoader config setup. Now I'm going to talk about how to make mods for ModLoader. Very simply put, it is not as hard of a process as you might think. Alright, so now we're in the SDK, and we're going to talk about how to make mods for ModLoader. So one of the key things about ModLoader is no references. We don't want to have references to either ModLoader mods or ModLoader itself. What this means is you don't need to download anything and you don't need to create any references to anything, period. If you can make a mod that changes any gameplay aspect without needing to change stuff like the player controller, the SQ soldier, the HUD, etc., then that qualifies as a ModLoader mod. Now, as an example, I'm going to really quickly make one myself just to show you how how simple this is. So let's go ahead and call this. Okay, so I've really quickly made a new mod called Radios for Everyone, and what this mod aims to do is give everyone, give every non-leadership role a radio menu, so they can also help with building and stuff. So first thing you need to do is you're going to make your actor. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna make a new folder into blueprints. This isn't necessary, but I find this to be helpful. To make a new actor. There's BP underscore radios for everyone. Okay. So this is going to be your manager actor. Essentially, anything that you can make through here is fair game. Just one thing to note, you do want to turn off net load on client. You're going to want to hit always relevant and replicate. So after you've done that, you can go ahead and get started with your stuff. I'm sure you know what you're doing. So I'm really quickly going to do my mod and cut back to it being finished, and then I'll quickly take you through it. All right, so now I'm back. I am currently testing. So here you can see I am not SL, and my kit is just a rifleman. This is all vanilla. I'll show you here in a sec. But if I hold T, See, I have access to this fortification menu, and I can place down anything. Now, because this is a test world, I don't need a fob right now. But if you were in a fob, obviously in a normal game, this would require build and being in a fob. But yeah, so there you go, and it just places down the vanilla Pesco walls and everything. It pulls the deployables from the faction setup. This mod, so it'll just if it's a modded layer, it'll pull the modded Pesco walls or whatever. But yeah, so let's go ahead and exit this, and just to really show you what's going on here. Um, so on begin play, all we're doing is we're enabling the inputs. I don't really need this right now. So we're enabling the input. And then we're doing the command menu input action that is found in the player controller. Here you can see. All I did was I took this input action and I put it on the actor, and then I had it consume the inputs and override the parent binding. So this way it overrides the player controller, so it calls here instead of the player controller. And I just copied all the same code from the player controller, and then I went into the BP HUD and I copied all the same code and just added my edits to it. And yeah, I mean it's all the same stuff. It's just I made my edits to it on an actor that doesn't touch the HUD, it doesn't touch the player controller, it doesn't touch the soldier, nothing. It's its own isolated actor. So any mod, honestly, can just spawn this actor in and it'll work off the bat. There's no references to ModLoader, there's no references to nothing other than obviously the vanilla player controller. But like I said, I am not making a copy of the player controller to implement these changes. I am doing everything from this actor itself. And yeah, I mean, I do have to edit obviously the radio menu to make it look good and limit to what the soldier can actually place down. But that's it. That's the mod. That's how you can make a ModLoader mod. It's really simple, it's straightforward, and it requires zero references. So it means that any other mod can simply take over um, and continue the ModLoader legacy in case, Jet and I just suddenly disappear. Great. We've made our actor, we've implemented our changes, etc. And now you want to test it. How do I test to see if my mod works? Well, very simply, you just need to drag and drop it into your world. That's it. That's how you test your quote unquote mod loader mods. Um, if they work like this, if they work being drag and dropped into the world, then great, you're done. However, if you require your actor to, let's say for instance, I do spawn actor from class. I'm gonna do my radios for everyone. Okay, sorry. Let's say you have some custom inputs that you require this actor to take. That will not work for ModLoader. Your actor needs to be able to just be dragged and dropped into the level and done. If it can't do that, then you need to figure out some way to make it do that. But yeah, so just simply drag and drop your actor into the world, hit play, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, fix it, and then we'll carry on to the next part. Now, you might be wondering, okay, great, I've made my actor, it has all of its code, it's working, great. How do I get this to be spawned by ModLoader? How do I do that? All you need to do is in the SDK, you're going to find your actor, you're going to right click it, you're going to go to copy object path, you're going to copy this. Now, here we are in my um, SDK model loader file. Like I said, it's the exact same. Anyways, this is just for testing. This is what you're going to do for the other file. Um, so you're going to post the reference we just copied here. This is the exact reference we just copied. This is what you're going to post um, in your mod page. Now just remember to put underscore C at the end because otherwise it's not a class and it won't spawn in. It's a whole headache. Anyways, and you're gonna paste this with the underscore C. You're gonna paste this into your mod page, and that's it. People will copy this and then they're gonna do the config setup and paste this into their model loader JSON file. So yeah, just gonna quickly fix this. So true, and there we go, and that's it, and that's how you tell ModLoader to run your actor. Um, and that's about it. That's how to make a ModLoader mod. It's really that simple. I mean, it's yeah. Now, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me or Jet regarding ModLoader. We're both available to answer any questions. If you have any more questions, maybe how to make your own stuff through the actor, feel free to reach out to me on the Discord. It's in the Koth Discord. I'll put a link up here on screen and in the description. But yeah, if you need any help, feel free to reach out to us. See you guys.